Hello everyone. So I talked about this a good while ago, before the election even happened, and we haven't even got to the presidential election yet. But I said that Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil, Sinn Féin, the major political parties, are not going to back an independent candidate. Either it would be Conor McGregor, Nick Gallagher, whoever it may be, the Pope. They're not going to back them. They're going to back Fine Gael candidates. The same with Sinn Féin. They're going to back a Sinn Féin candidate, take for example, Catherine Connolly. They're not going to back any independents. So we pretty much have seen what Simon House... Because, again, the reason why they're doing this, they're afraid. They're afraid that a candidate, an independent, and only Joe could get in and cause a bit of ruckus for them and make life hard for the government. Even though, again, the President of Ireland has very little role in anything, but they can be a nuisance to the government if they don't cooperate with the government. If they kind of just... They can't really do much, but if they just kind of ignore the government and... push things aside and delay stuff as much as humanly possible to annoy them. There's nothing really the government can really do to stop them in that kind of way. But in terms of power and stuff like that, say for example getting rid of Simon House, there's no hope of doing that because the president has no authority to dismiss the Taoiseach on Tánaiste, ministers, TDs, whatever they may be. It's just a kind of ceremonial pretty much, but it can be annoying in terms of legislation. You can delay signing it for a while and etc etc. But all this is just pretty much to do with they're afraid, and that's the thing. They're afraid. Simon House is terrified that and he's trying to roll in the flock, if that makes any sense here, with the Fine Gael council. So he's afraid of them going rogue. So pretty much what he's saying here, if a Fine Gael councillor, there's 245 of them, which is a lot, but Fianna Fáil has more. But Fianna Fáil will do the same, of course. Fianna Fáil councillors, none of them have a backbone. They're going to do whatever Simon House and Micheál Martin tells them to do. Or they simply will not have a place in Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael. It's simple as that. They're more worried about that than obviously losing their money. They're too afraid of that. They won't side with the people. They're too afraid of losing their money and losing the position in politics. So it just goes to show you, that's the situation in the Irish elections. Now, on another thing in terms of the presidential election coming up, this is to do with candidates seeking backing of local authorities, county councillors, take for example, city councillors. There's not much of a hope. As I was speaking, the candidate that Aintu is backing, I can never think of it, Maria. She was a huge person in getting the referendums rejected by the Irish people, the family car referendum and all that. But just laughing about that, because thinking back at it was so stupid that it was even proposed in the first place. But yeah, he made Micheál Martin cry over it a bit. So it was a great candidate. But Mayo County Council, for example, voted against her. And obviously Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and Sinn Féin, the main political parties, none of them really supported her, apart from maybe a few independent councillors and Aintu. The rest kind of are gone. But yeah, so it's pretty much hopeless. And the same for Conor McGregor. There's not a hope in hell he'd get any backing. He says he has the backing, but he simply doesn't. No member, particularly this goes for TDs too, no TD is going to step out of line. Oh, no councillor or no senator is going to step out of line of Fine Gael and say, I'm going to back Conor McGregor. There's not a hope of that, and not a hope of Fianna Fáil doing it, not a hope of Sinn Féin. Labour Party, Social Democrats, pretty much are all conformed that they will vote for Catherine Connolly. So there's not a hope in hell of Conor McGregor getting on the ballot paper. It's just delusions if he thinks he's going to win. Whatever Nick Gallagher, there's a hope of him winning. And I probably will vote for him. We'll see when the time, if he does get on the ballot. Hopefully he will, some of the other ones. But in a way too, the Irish Constitution does say that you need it. But in looking back on it, and I suppose when it was designed, we should talk about the relevancy of the presidency too. Does it need to exist in the first place? And the second thing is too, why is the limits in terms of who can run? Any citizen over 35 should be able to run. I should be able to just roll up in the morning and say I want to become Uachtar Rodney Hale and President of Ireland, because that's democracy. You put your name forward, you can become something. But there's a lot of rigmarole, as I say. It's no really other countries in the world that you have to go through such rigmarole to get to the office of Uachtar Rodney Hale and President of Ireland. But so it's a lot of rigmarole. But at the same time, there's not much. There's loads of money for it, but there's no more. There's no power. You might just sit in your arse, and there's no really any kind of power to do anything about anything. But anyway, let me know what you think. Who you will be voting for? What's your hope? Do you think Conor McGregor has a hope? Do you think Simon Howes has lost the plot and is terrified and it's in the bunker? What do you think, I suppose? Because it is a weird election. And we'll see Bertie Howen too. Just last thing, Bertie Howen was not accepted by Fianna Fáil, which is surprising. It is surprising. We talk about that a different day. But yeah, so let me know what you think. But pretty much this means they're scared. They are scared. They're terrified that independents could get there and cause a lot of trouble for them. It'd be a shame if it does. It'd be great if the country, if an independent does get in, to annoy them. But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. It's either going to be Heather Humphreys or Catherine Connolly. I don't think Sinn Féin has a hope if they won their own candidate. Or even that Gavin Farrell, former GEA Farrell, I don't think he has a hope in hell of winning anything. Then let me know what you think. Subscribe for more and bye.